So today we're talking about a piece of gear that I was sent not too long ago that I thought I'd like, but I didn't think I would love in the way that I do. And that's this little kit from Hollyland, the Hollyland Lark M2. So this is a microphone kit, a wireless microphone kit. We've seen these before. Okay, I think Rode were probably the first ones to start these with their Rode Wireless Go kit, which originally, you had that one transmitter, but they really started the ball rolling. And we sort of got all the way up to probably the most popular one today, I think, is the DJI Wireless Mic 2, which is an awesome kit, right? It's got 32-bit float. You can plug in external microphones, all that kind of stuff. This is a very different style of kit than that set of microphones. It's much simpler and there's far less room for error. And honestly, this functions in the way that most people use the DJI Wireless Mic 2. You see, the Wireless Mic 2 is a great kit and well worth the investment if you are going to use it properly. Now, I don't actually have the DJI kit. I have Hollyland's version of it. Now, this is something I bought with my own money quite a while ago. This is the Lark Max, okay? So this is their transmitter for the Lark Max. It's probably about the same size as the DJI. It's got a big capsule on the top. You can plug a microphone in, and it's got, noise cancelling, all that kind of stuff, and inbuilt recording. So that's the main difference with these larger style microphones. They can do inbuilt recording. Now, how most people use these microphones is in two ways. Either they're going to hold it and they talk into it like this, which is a really bad way of doing it. It just doesn't sound good. Or they just clip it onto their shirt like that, and it just kind of sits like this. This is how most people end up using it, which is fine. But it's just, these are designed to be able to do so much more than that. And most people just use it as a microphone. And the problem with that is you're spending $300 on a microphone that can do a lot more than what you're using, but you're just using it as a microphone. Now, but this little kit by Hollyland is half the price at about $150 and does just what everybody tends to use these microphones for anyway, which is just a tiny little microphone that clips onto your shirt. And the nice thing about that is these mics are teeny tiny. I mean, look at the size of it. It's about the size of a button on a blazer, right? It's really, really super small. It's got a little charging kit and it's very, very simple. Now, what does this lack compared to the bigger, wireless mics that you've seen from Rode, Hollyland, or DJI? Well, first off, it doesn't have any inbuilt recording. So there's no inbuilt recording in this microphone. But again, for the way that most people use these things, that's fine. Most people, especially YouTubers, are not using these in ways that require the inbuilt recording. If you're a professional wedding videographer and you're very concerned about doing, high level stuff where you've got, one chance to capture your audio, that's kind of different. You want something with inbuilt recording. If you're vlogging or just doing sort of little easy videos where you're just talking to a camera, this is more than enough. Now, secondly, what this little mic doesn't have is a mic port, like a mic jack. So a lot of these other ones, the DJIs, the Rodes, and the larger Hollyland versions, you can plug in a microphone, and that's how I like to use them personally. Most of the time what I do with the Hollyland Lark Max is I attach it to the back of my Rode VideoMic NTG, and now that acts as a wireless microphone that I can stick on a boom pole and send an audio feed straight into my camera. So if I'm filming a talking headpiece or I'm filming an interview, I could have this boomed over the speaker and it'll pick it up and it'll send it wirelessly to the camera, which is really nice. But again, most people aren't using it like that. Most people don't even use the lav mics that often come with these kits. They're just using the inbuilt microphone. So yes, that's where this comes in. It's half the price and it does what most people use these for anyway. And the little kit is actually really nice. It's a really small little case. It's a charging case, so it has enough juice in here to, recharge all the devices multiple times. I've owned this for 2 or 3 months. I've used it a lot. I've even used it for a wedding, as sort of scratch audio for a couple of different things. And it's still at 3/4 charge on the case. There's still so much juice in here. I haven't plugged this in once and I've used it a lot. So battery life on these is fantastic. Each of the little microphones only weighs 9 grams, right? Super, super cheap. And very easy to use. That's one of the nice things as well, is that a lot of those other big ones, they pull your shirt down and they're so obnoxious and large. Whereas these ones, they've got a tiny little magnet and you can just stick that on under your shirt and it's barely noticeable. If somebody's wearing dark clothing or something, you're not going to see this. It also comes with stickers, so you can add a sticker on there to match whatever kind of color that they are wearing. But it's super lightweight, right? So it's not going to drag down your shirt and make it uncomfortable. You can also reverse it. So if you're worried about wind noise, you could put the microphone inside the shirt and then have just a little magnet sitting on the outside, and it's even more inconspicuous that way. And like most of these style kits, it comes with 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. Now the receiver is very basic, very, very simple. It's just got a big old volume knob on here that controls the gain of the microphones. And it's a 3-step dial, quiet, medium, loud. Just think of it that way. And it's really, really simple to use. Now the real question obviously around this kit is not anything to do with the looks, the size, anything like that. It's a microphone. It has to sound good. And I think these sound amazing. Now, at the moment, you're listening to a $1,000 microphone, okay, which is very different to a $150 two microphone and a receiver wireless kit with a charging case, right? Very different price points. This is the Sennheiser MKH416, a legendary microphone with a really nice crisp sound, and I love the way that this sounds on my voice, one of my favorites, and it's running directly into my Sony FX30 with an XLR cable. Not all cameras can take XLR cables, so sometimes it's nice to have little mic jack microphones that'll work just as well. So, will it sound as good as a $1,000 microphone? Probably not. But let me plug this in, get this set up so you can hear just how well it sounds. And now you're listening to the Hollyland little Lark M2 microphone. Just one of them running straight to the receiver into the camera. And again, the size and the weight, I think, of this thing are really what makes it appealing to a lot of people. It's very, very simple, very, very easy to use. You don't need to know a whole lot about audio. There's a lot of smart features in here. It's got noise cancelling. It's got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not going to get into today. If you're interested in a more comprehensive review, let me know in the comments down below. But for YouTubers, I think this is a fantastic option. The DJI wireless mic system is great. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say anything against it. Same with these. I love this Hollyland Lark Max system as well, but they're for a different purpose, right? This is a much bigger, much more expensive kit that can do a whole lot more. For YouTube videos, I don't need all of the features that this can provide, so it makes sense to save the money, spend half of the money on this kit, and then you can put the rest of that funds somewhere else. And what do you think? Do you think it sounds good? Is it comparable to the Sennheiser MKH416? So just as a refresher, this is what the MKH416 sounds like. Obviously, it is a much crisper, more expensive microphone, but is it worth $800 more than the kit? And again, I think a lot of the people are listening to this on a phone, at which point you cannot tell. Now, if you're listening to this with headphones, which you probably should be doing just to get the full effect, you're going to notice a difference. Now, here's another thing, is I have added an EQ to this microphone, and I think it sounds really good. I really like the way that this sounds, but it's quite a steep EQ, meaning that I've tweaked the sound of it quite a bit. I'm going to show you my EQ graph here in just a second, but right now you're listening to what it sounds like straight out of the microphone. And the way that I think about this kind of sound is it's very flat. Okay, it's very just flat. It's very simple, very flat. It's kind of like me currently filming in log, right? The way that you're seeing this image right now is not the way that it's captured. It's captured as a very flat image, which means that I can bring out all the vibrancy afterwards in post. We do this all the time in video. You can do the exact same thing with your audio. So having a flat sounding microphone isn't bad. So what you can do is you can EQ this microphone to your voice. You can bring up the high end and bring up the low end, drop the mids a little bit, which is what I've done, and I think works really well on this microphone. Save that as a preset, and then in the future, whenever you record your next video, you can just add that preset straight onto the audio clip, and you've got a really nice sounding audio. You should be editing your audio. It's okay to edit your audio. Most people kind of forget about that. So again, this is what it sounds like straight out of the microphone on its own, and this is what it sounds like EQ'd. Big difference. And what you were listening to earlier with the Sennheiser MKH416, it did not have an EQ on it. So that's probably one of the differences, is that microphone, like straight out of the microphone, sounds fantastic. It's a really, really nice sounding microphone. This just needs a little bit of tweaking, but again, very, very simple to do. I just threw a 10-band EQ on there and play around a little bit until I cut out the frequencies that I don't like, and I emphasize the ones that I think need to be brought up a little bit more. Now, I wasn't actually planning on making a dedicated review about this product. I mentioned it in a video before, putting together a budget kit of $1,000. If you're interested in that video, the link is up here. And I included this in that video because it's a very good value for the money. And then I listened back to it and I was like, wow, this actually sounds great. And I used it on a handful of videos since, and I was like, this is underrated. I need to talk about this a little bit more. So if you're in the market for a wireless microphone kit and you're not going to use all of the features that some of the bigger, more expensive microphone options offer, like 32-bit float, plugging in external microphones, most people don't do it anyway. So, it depends on your use case. Some people need those features depending on their use case. Other people don't. For YouTube stuff, I don't need those. So for all this YouTube stuff, these things are more than enough for me. I want to know what your thoughts are. If you think that this sounds good and you think it's worth the money, check out links in the description below. Those are affiliated, so of course that helps out the channel a fair bit. And if you've enjoyed the video, do hit the like button, drop a comment down below, or maybe even subscribe as we continue to build this channel. I appreciate all of you for doing so, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.